All right, I am back. I did try to restart my computer, did clear out all the VRAM, but I found out actually if I closed out Visual Studio Code or Windsurf, that was what was holding the memory in place. So I looked up OmniGen about its requirements, and I think it said like 40. I don't know why. I just thought this was something I could run locally, but then they started comparing it with, suppose he's putting OmniGen in there, but OmniGen. But what I was in here is talking about like Flex. I don't know if it really needs it, but like Flex One, but it was something about like 40 gigabytes of VRAM. I'm not sure where I saw that specification, but the point is that I don't got enough RAM to run this thing locally. I think it's talking about dedicated GPU RAM. I'm never really certain, or maybe it overflowed in the other one and it filled up. But the point was is I can't run it locally. I don't have enough beefy computer. We might be able to run it on LightingAI. I actually didn't try that. Worst case, we can go and use OmniGen, right? So this is a possible option. But now that I'm talking out loud, why don't we try LightingAI? Because I've been talking about using LightingAI forever, and I haven't touched it this entire boot camp. And let's go ahead and we'll log in and we'll get to it. So I'm going to go ahead and use Google here. And it doesn't really matter which way you get in here. I'm going to get in this way here. So now I'm getting inside of OmniGen. And so I wonder if they already have a template for this. Sometimes they already have templates. I'm going to type in OmniGen. Okay. And there is one here. So somebody definitely attempted OmniGen. I don't think it's going to be that hard for us to get running. So I'm going to go ahead and make a new studio. I'm going to call this one, I want to use GPUs. GPUs. And even the lowest level is going to be here. I like how it actually tells us the cost per hour over here. So if we had to run it ourselves, we could absolutely do that. I only need one T4, sounds quite generous here. We'll go ahead and hit confirm. And I'm going to go ahead and, this is code data prep. We're just going to start it up. And so I'm launching one T4 on LightingAI. First time we used it. It says 9.84 credits remaining. That's totally fine. No, I'll just add credits when I need it or do whatever I have to do. I'll go ahead and accept that down below. Let's go ahead and get this environment started up. So it takes a little bit of time. But we know the process now because we have a failed attempt at OmniGen. But we're going to want to specify one thing. I keep forgetting this, but if you want to get PyTorch in the specific version you need, and you go here, where is it, like install, it should say somewhere here. It has a thing like to get it installed. If we go to PyTorch, start locally. You can go here and be like, I'm using Conda, I'm using pip. See, apparently Conda doesn't do that anymore. I don't know what libtorch is. Well, I guess I kind of do. I do know what libtorch is, sorry. But depending on what we want to do, we can kind of change our options here. So Linux, Windows, whatever, and figure out what CUDA version we have. Doesn't show all of them, but shows enough of them that we should be able to get this working here. I wonder what version of T4, NVIDIA T4, and then we'll talk about, was it CUDA? What does it support? And I mean, we can actually just ask when we're in there and check the CUDA version that's installed in the machine. Now that this is up, let's go ahead and make ourselves a terminal. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and, well, while this is going, I'm going to clone this repo. I want to get this going here. So we'll go over to here and I'll say get clone, whatever. We'll just dump it in here. Yep, allow it. Hit enter. So that is now cloning the repo. I'm going to make a new tab so I don't have to wait around. And so if it does have NVIDIA, we should be able to do NVIDIA SMI. And we can, and it's running 12.2. So that's the version it's running. We'll go back over to here. What options do we have? Do we have 12.2? We have 12.4. Well, what if we want 12.2? Here it's showing this. Right, like how do we get to 12.2? Previous PyTorch versions. Okay, how do we get... It's frustrating. The only number we need, they don't have. So say, let's consider download PyTorch, whatever this is. 124, 12. So why can't we just change this to 122? We might just try that out. So coming back over to here, we'll go over to here. Is it cloned? It is. We'll go back over to here. Do we have Conda on this environment? We do. That's excellent. So we'll use Conda and follow the instructions they have here. Not that we need it, but we're going to do it anyway. So here, it wants a very specific version. I just want to follow it to the T, exactly what it says we need. We'll go ahead and do that. So I'm going to use 3.10 here. And Yeah, we'll go ahead and hit enter. Content create is not allowed. A studio has a default environment. That's fine. We can work in the default. I don't care. But what Python version do we have? Python hyphen version 310. Oh, you know what? We're on the version we need. So, well, pretty close to it anyway. So we're fine doing it that way. So I need a very specific version of CUDA or Python, PyTorch. So I'll go up here and I'm going to just change this over to 122. I'm going to try to cheat and see if I can get that exact version I need. Okay, we'll also install the other three here. Also, it already has that stuff installed. Am I having conflicts here? Requirement already satisfied. So it's already saying that it's installed on this environment, meaning that I can't go in and install a specific one, but maybe it already has what we need. And that's fine. If it works, I don't care. Let's just get it to work. So I'm going to cd OmniGen, and I'm going to go ahead and run this command here. And so I'm hoping that the T4 already here is optimized, like has the optimal PyTorch version installed, and that we can just start utilizing it. That'd be really, really nice. So we'll go ahead and let that install. We'll be back here when that is completed here, okay? Okay, yeah, well, that was fast. So that was now done. We'll move on to the next step. So now we've done this. I want to open up this thing here. So this one here, we do have Jupyter, so we can use that directly. Yeah, we'll open it anyway, so we'll just open it here. Whatever kind of environment you want to work in, it doesn't really matter. But I guess we'll open it up in VS Code. So this is right in front of us. It is a bit large because it has those images there, which is kind of annoying. Here we go. And so I'm hoping that we can just run it. So let's just run this. Is there a version 2? I didn't even know if there was a version 2. I assumed it's just version 1. Let's go all the way to the top here. That's just version 1. And so now we're going to go ahead and download the model. So this takes quite a bit of time. It's unfortunate because right now we're using compute. What I could have done is launch this in compute mode and then switch over to the GPU so we're not fully wrecking stuff here. But we'll go ahead and download and find out what goes on here, okay? All right, so here the model is downloaded. And we're going to go ahead and run it. If this just works, I'm going to be really excited because, I don't know, we should have been using LightingAI for a few of these other things. But anyway, the point is it's going to save the image to a very specific location. So we have a thing called demo cases. Hopefully there's nothing there already. I don't think so. And I think it finished. Okay, we'll give this a refresh here. Where is our image? And we have an error. What is our error? Unpacked on non-iterable non-type. The same problem that I had prior, right? So I'm not sure. We'll go over to here. Like, how could we check system resources? Oh, it's up here. See up here? CPU, right? RAM, disk, GPU. Interesting. So there's nothing here that's indicating VRAM. What about VRAM? Here we have a lot. So it says 8 and max is 16. So this has double the RAM that I have. Temperature, power, everything's fine here. What is going on? So that makes me think that maybe there's nothing wrong with I mean, obviously my virtual RAM got used up quite a bit, but what could be causing this? Let's go back and read the instructions at the top. It's so hard to get this working. So for out of memory timer cost, you can set the offload to true to select appropriate setting. If the inference time is too long, oversaturated, low quality. So I'm not really sure. Let's go over to here. We'll go down below. Cannot pack this. This seems to keep happening. Okay, a couple people with this problem. So they have an RTX 4070, not too far off from what I have. I have a 4060, right? Oh, and they have logs. You can get the logs too, eh? You can try to update the transformers with pip install. It doesn't work. Everything is updated. You can try. Thanks now. Works for me. So here they're suggesting maybe there's an issue with transformers. I guess the question is like, is this fixed to a very specific version? Maybe it will work on my local computer. I'm excited if it can, but I don't think I have enough memory for it. This one doesn't obviously have more than 16 VRAM, so I'm not exactly sure why I thought it needed 40. Maybe Flux needed 40, and this one doesn't require the same amount. We're going to go over to requirements.txt here. This is 4.452. There says here 4.4.2. So that's already been updated to that specific version. So I don't think that is going to fix our problem. Well, we could take a look here. Let's do pip show transformers. What version of transformers are we using? And this says 4.490. This one's 4.452. So we are using a newer version than what's here. And they're talking about updating, going to a later version. Let's go back here for a second. Here's another one. Not in English, but it's having the same issue. Maybe the version transformers causes issue. I tried and didn't change anything. The problem is that the setup.py requirements don't match the requirements.txt values. So if you do a pip install OmniGen, it's installing the incorrect versions of various packages. Oh, this is likely, you can likely fix this by installing the requirements first and then packages without dependencies. Okay. I'm not an expert in coding. Well, then what are you doing here? I solved it by with the solution by with the above with 4.452. And here they're all talking about 4.4.4.2. But that's the version. I mean, maybe we could fix it to that specific version. Here they're fixing it to this very specific version. What if we go ahead and do that? Let's try this. This is forcing a very specific version, 4.452. And so now we're exactly matching. See, here it shows that it's this one, but it took a newer one. Because this one has a, was it triple? It's just a double. Okay, let's try this again. And now see what we get. I can't tell because the output's here. Let's finish executing. I need to clear this output because I can't tell what's going on here. Clear cell output. Let's run this again. No. So we get this error still. Non-iterable type for this. Okay, let's go back over to here. Doesn't match the requirements.txt value. So if you use a pip install E, that's installing the incorrect versions of the various packages. You can likely fix this by doing this. Here, I mean, they're showing the requirements.txt, so I'm not sure what they're talking about. This one's completely different. This is a get. This is a gist, I believe. This is the forked version, and then over here, they have this. So theirs is a little bit different. I'm not sure if it is the same or different. We'll go take a look here. There's no difference. It's the same thing. Yeah, I don't see why that would make a difference. It's the same thing. That doesn't make any sense. So maybe there's one. There's none that are closed. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get this to work because if I can't work through this, I install Comfy UI, but it still fails. Let's go here. This is in a different area. Is it like OmniGen run by virtual environment? As Satoshi said, Satoi. And I see people are using RTX 4090, things that aren't too far off from mine. So I was able to do that using Pinkio. A lot of people suggesting this pip transformers 4.52. We already did that though. It works now. I could not make it run with 448. So they're saying here, even with same issue with that. Yeah, same with the B. Works with 4.452. I can run this with any version of transformers. How can I get more help? Well, they can't run it with any single version. Works for 4542. So I think like what the issue might be here is like really what version is going on here. Let's go back here for a second. We'll do pip install. Pip update -r requirements. And now it's installing very specific versions. Here it's even doing 2.3.1, right? I don't know if it'll pick up the right CUDA version, but now we're doing that. So let's go back to the instructions for a second. Maybe there's something we didn't understand about the instructions. So if we go back to OmniGen here, OmniGen GitHub. Okay, we go here. We're running this. Would that not pick up like requirements? Like what is, I always forget what the hyphen, let's go take a look here. What does this do? I don't know what the hyphen E flags for environment. Development or editable mode. In a directory containing a Python package. One with a setup top high and a project. Oh, okay, so it's doing that. That's how it's doing it. So we'll go back over to here. So that's what this setup is here. And then here, I mean, it's specifying very specific things like newer or older. But another person just saying, oh, you're about to sneeze here. But another person saying just run it directly, right? So, I mean, I'm running it directly right now. I'm not sure if that's going to fix our problem, as it's a bit of an unusual way that I'm working through this here. Let's give this a clear all outputs. We'll restart. Okay. Yeah, we'll restart. It's fine. And we'll try this again. So I'm going to go ahead and run this line here. We already have it downloaded, so it should run very quickly, right? Or relatively quickly. Okay, but yeah, maybe the instructions were not accurate. And that other person, if they didn't clear out their environment, like they didn't make it a virtual environment, maybe that was their issue as well. But, you know, worst case, we can use this one over here. It's going to cost me money. It says 14 cents per on replicate, or 7 runs is $1. So I can utilize that, but if I can use it for free as in, you know, stuff I paid expensive compute for, not on this, but on my local compute, then that would be really nice. We'll give this a moment here to load. I'm not sure why it's taking forever, but it takes time. All right, that took 2 minutes to load here. That's totally fine. We're going to go over to here and let's see if it works now. It might still not work, but at least we're kind of getting to the root of it. But now it gives me hope that I might be able to run this on my local machine. Seeing people using 4080s because I'm not far off. I mean, I think 4080 might have double the memory, which I wanted, but you know, I got what I got. But it's not erroring out here, as you can see. So the other time it would like error out instantly. Oh, it's moving. It's moving. Yes. Now this is a T4, so I'm not sure how a T4 compares. So we go here, T4 versus RTX 4060. That's what I have. I thought I had something better, but okay, so this is more money, obviously. I'm trying to figure out the performance. That's all it is. It's only $783 to get that. That's interesting. It says this is the winner in comparison, though. So here, okay, but what about performance? Well, that doesn't tell me much. So here it's saying like maybe the 4060 does better overall. How? Well, I don't have a TI. I just have a 4060. And even a 30, so I'm over here, right? So this Tesla R4 is not as efficient. This one has more memory, right? Which kind of matters. But this also has a smaller footprint in terms of wattage. You see this one has double. So there's more than one factor to go in there. So if that's the case, then this should run even better on my own machine locally. Let's go back over to here. Look at the GPUs. They're at max. The memory usage here is 11. Right? So again, I don't feel like I have enough resources on my computer to run that. We'll go to CPU here. yeah, it's using CPU. Like, does the overflow go to the other one though, right? So like if you run out of VRAM, so if you run a model and you are out of dedicated VRAM, does it use the shared RAM for running models against GPUs? That's what I wanted. I always think that it can't. What happens next depends on the specific framework. So PyTorch, if you run out of dedicated VRAM, the system will typically try to use RAM as the fallback memory, called memory paging. So with CUDA GPUs, when you exceed the RAM, you may attempt to use system RAM in unified memory. Okay, and so in that sense, it's supposed to do that. We'll go back over to here. But it is running. So it is really slow. But we will wait for this to complete. We're not going to be able to do all of these things here, but I might go back and try my local machine again and delete the environment. I mean, while we're waiting, I might as well just go delete that environment. So if I go here, conda env list, I'll do conda remove, conda, what is it? Conda remove -n OmniGen all. Yes. And so we're going to just reset that. I might as well, because I have time while I'm waiting to reset that up. And so now I can remake this environment using the exact version they said to use. So that would be 3.10.3, yep. So we'll go ahead and just redo that. Well, because that other one's going to take forever. I don't care if it's even fast on my computer either. I just want to see if it can work. So we'll go ahead into this. We will need to get IPY kernel. We always need that thing so that it will show up. Conda install, conda force, conda forge. Now what's really interesting is that they didn't use that very specific version of CUDA. They just used whatever it was. And I feel like a T4 is older, but maybe the default version works better. I don't know. But I don't know. Shouldn't I use the latest version? I'm not sure, because if we go over here, this is using Torch 2.3.1. Well, I don't think it's going to hurt, so we're just going to try it. Even though I'm not installing this specific version of Torch, I'm going to go ahead and just do pip install -r requirements.txt. Okay, we're going to make our way back over to the internet, wherever that was. Oh, we're already in the internet here. Okay. I was running that locally, right? I am. And so now it's installing this version of Torch 2.3.1. I'm hoping that it just knows to pick up the right version. I don't know. This is CP. So it makes me think like it's not installing the GPU version of what I need, right? I mean, I'll let it go, but this is not, I think, what I want. And we're going to go back over to here. And I guess we'll just wait till this is done, okay? I mean, another thing is that we don't have to really, like, these are running, but I figured why not make use of this time and use this OmniGen one, because I was going to use it anyway. So in here, I have this is a paid service. If you don't have money, don't do this. And if it's too expensive for you, don't do this. If it says 14 cents, that's 14 cents American. So we go like here, we say 14 USD to, or USD to CAD. And for me, it's really 20 cents. Whoa, that's expensive. But we'll go back over to here. And so we see that we have this thing, and they have the drink over here. It says, remove the women's earrings. So they have a source image here. And we remember what the original image looks like. Let's go take a look at it. All right, so we'll go over to here. Well, it's not showing to us, but we know what it looks like because of the original one here. So I'm going to just change it here a bit. And so I'm going to say, change the women, change the woman, what does that change? Change the woman's white sweater to be a black t-shirt. Change the t-shirt, band t-shirt. I'm gonna try band t-shirt. And we'll say remove earrings Add nose piercing. I'm going with something here. Add neck tattoo. I'm really giving it a lot. I'm not sure if we can do all this. Change book. Change book out for Nintendo Switch. Or like video game. For Game Boy. For Game Boy. I don't know if I can do that. So we've changed some things here. We'll go ahead and run it. I think that it usually says like stick to 512, 512. But this one's already set these defaults, so I'm going to leave it alone. And I'm not sure how long it took to run. I think it just told us there a moment ago it takes like 2 minutes. So this one's not much faster either, but at least I know I'm not wasting compute while I'm waiting around here. And this one is at 32%, so it's still going, and it's doing some rural board. Well, this one's actually generating out the image, right? And so this one is going as well. And now we're just waiting on 2 different fronts here. So yeah, we're just going to wait, and I'm going to wait to run my local one here in a little bit, okay? Oh, because it's setting up the model. Okay. Maybe once the model's set up or people running it more often, it's less of an issue. But yeah, you see this one is going to take a considerable amount of time. All right, I'm still waiting for this. And notice over here it says booting. And over here it says cold. So this model is cold. You get a fast response if the model is warm already running and a slow response if it's there. Also over here, we see the model costs approximately whatever, but it's running on an L40S. This one here is still going. It seems like it's going to go faster than the other one if the other one ever warms up here. So I want to take a look. What is an L4LS? So versus, let's say, an RTX 4060. And that's what I have. I thought I had a 4080 Ti or something, but I don't. I just have junk. And so here we have an L40S. Notice that it has 48 gigabytes. It uses more RAM. So it's an older one, but it has more RAM available compared to my 8 gigabyte one. So again, it depends on what you need to do, not just processing power, but also how much you can hold in memory. But I guess the performance isn't going to be much faster. The RTX is going to perform a lot better. So I'm starting to understand, why this stuff kind of matters, but it is really taking its time here to start. But at some point it will start. I mean, I've started the job, so I'm going to get it at some point. And this one's it's been going for 17 minutes. It's like I'm going to go through all my credits just generating one image. But we'll see what happens here. At least this is kind of a good benchmark of how long it might take on my local machine. So if I have this locally and it takes this something like, here it says, like if this comes up to 20, this is like 70% there. So if this takes like 20, 30 minutes, that's how long it's going to take locally. And so maybe OmniGen is good, but if you don't have the compute to back it up, then it's kind of a pain to utilize. Yeah, so anyway, we will just continue waiting here until, well, here's a question. How does an H1 compare with this? So we go like H1, AWS, pricing. Like what is, well, first of all, like H100 versus RTX 4060. It's a little bit silly comparison, but we'll do it anyway. And we'll go to the technical city here. And the show, was this the one we're looking at? I thought it was. I'm trying to understand. I'm not sure what we're getting at. I'm trying to understand this H1 PCI. I'm not sure if that's the same thing. No rating. Okay, but what's the performance difference? That's what I want to know here is how much, yeah, because it's like $70,000, right? It's something ridiculous or for that thing. So here, 5, 4, 300, whatever. It has more teraflops, good. Let's get that added out of here. Way more tensor cores. 80, right? And so, let's go to Claude and just say like, how much faster is a H100 versus an RTX 4060? Because I want to know like how long would it take to run this frickin' thing? 20 to 30 times faster, right? So if I go like, H100 AWS, Like, what's the trick to running that on AWS? We're not going to do run pod. I didn't find run pod that very easy to use. And I don't want free tier. I just want to know EC2 instance. Usually these are tied to very specific ones. P5, is that what it is? I mean, that's high performance computing. H100, H200. So we'll go up to here. High performance GPU instances for deep learning and HPC applications. I just want to see it performance-wise, like how it does. The other question is, like, if we were over here, could we have gone and chosen that in our GPU options? We could have just chose it here, right? So here, wait time is current. Wait time is subject to the cloud provider demand. So how long you have to wait till you could utilize it. So even if we wanted H100, it might take forever. And look, apparently you can only choose in quantities of 8. So, you know, the question really is, even if we wanted to use an H100, could we even use it and how long would it take? And that might be kind of a bit of a pain to figure out. But definitely it would run substantially faster. Maybe even an A100 would run a lot better here. So we'll go back over to, we'll just leave it, we'll just leave it open here, right? But I wonder, like, once we get this running up, how's this going to go here? So it's still cold, so we're going to be waiting a long time. All right, so this one's still cold. I'm not sure when it's ever going to finish there. We'll go over to here. This one's at 100%. So now, in theory, we should have an image here. And there we go. It generated an image. Looks like the other one. So I was hoping maybe it might be a bit different, but it did say completed. It does output it to images, case demos, TIG image here. And we didn't have that before. Let's give this a refresh and see if we have that. So images. This is new. Demo cases. And here it is. Now, exactly like the other one, so not that exciting. But at the very least, it did generate it out. I kind of wish that when I entered that prompt, I would have done something different here. But I would say that what we have learned is, oh, it's warm. There we go, it's warm. Well, so we're going to close out this environment as, obviously it's going to take way too long to run this on here. Sign out, unless we can use the H100, but even that will take forever to get access to. So I'm hoping when I signed out that it spun down that environment. I don't know if it did. We'll go over here. So forbidden URL, all that work, and it can't run it. But that's fine because we can bring in our own image. Remember that I said that here, remember I have my own images, right? Remember? So I'll go over to here because we actually had one that I was showing earlier. Where was it? In recordings? Documents. Oh no, but you know what? We could, these are the images we generated out earlier. Remember those? Right? So we could use those from our characters. I was going to just use me, but I guess what I'll do, since I kind of ended up over there anyway, I'm going to go into that and keep, while this is, oh, it's already cold. Frick. What a pain. I want to see its capabilities though. So I'm going to go into the folder here. Literally like wait 2 seconds, it's already cold. And so I'm looking for, I don't feel like it'll do well if the photo's not square though. Pictures, screenshots, tech downloads, documents, recordings. All right, I have one of me here, so we'll go just do that. There we go. And so what can we change? We have image one. I wrote change wrong here too. So we'll say here, remove the man's glasses. Change the jacket to a black sweater, and change the setting to be outside in the forest. Okay, so we got that. We'll go run it. It says it's cold. And we'll see. That took a long time for this to get warm. It took a long, long time. So it's very unfortunate that we did not catch that in time for when that actually got warm. And even if it did that, whatever. But this will generate out some point in time. I'm not that interested in even trying this locally because of the time it'll take to generate. And so it seems like if we want to have any kind of feasible image generation, we'll really need to set up comfy UI, use things like ControlNet and things like that. But if I could get this to run on some kind of GPU compute, it could be really, really good. But I can't. I know for Hugging Face, we had some, it was more reliable on Hugging Face, surprisingly, OmniGen, than anywhere else. So remember I was using it here, right here. And I know in here, it would actually run. But I'm just going to give up here for now. We'll see what generates out here, but I'm going to give up because if I don't have the fast enough compute, like it's not even just cost, it's just like having access to the compute and being able to run it is just too hard. So we will try a different way, okay?